What's up guys, and welcome back for another EVE Online video. This is the latest installment in my life as a corporation director, and if you've been following the channel you'll know that this week has been quite a week for disaster area, and for me. We got evicted from our wormhole, our C2 wormhole J222. So last week I was full of optimism and had lots of plans as to where I wanted to go and what content I was going to bring you next. Obviously some of that is now delayed just a little bit, because we spent this week dealing with the eviction and doing what we could to survive or get stuff out or fight back, or all of that. So basically I'm just going to start quickly as always, with a little simple skin. So this is the Amar shuttle. Normally it's gold, so if I turn that off, normally it's gold, but this is the Carnid skin, so I think they're a group within Amar, the Carnid Empire perhaps, and it's black and silver. So it's relevant this week because I've spent the last few days in the shuttle for quite a lot of time, because I've been hopping all around HiSec, getting my stuff back basically, and bringing back the corpse stuff back into our HiSec headquarters. So with regard to the wormhole eviction, some people are obviously a bit disappointed about the timing, but I actually think we got relatively lucky with the Yule Festival event that was going on. So if you are not aware, as part of the Yule Festival there were the filaments that would send you to, depending on which filament you used, you could go to high, low or null sec space, and it would send you into one of the metaliminal storms. And we got quite lucky that, excuse me, mining on an alt. We got quite lucky that the filaments were still going, the event was still going when the eviction started. So we were able to filament a load of stuff out. So it was actually really quite easy to get most of our stuff out of the wormhole. So like the biggest ship that could take it was like an Orca. Could take the filaments, so we just loaded as much stuff up as we could into an Orca, and we had a few in there, and then you could just filament out, undock, warp to a safe, immediately filament, and you're back in HiSec. Somewhere random in HiSec, like it was always a metaliminal storm, but there were quite a few of them. And then you just jump in a cloaky or an interdictor. Don't mean interdictor, I mean an interceptor, I think. And then jump back into the wormhole and do it again with a different ship. So we could get our battleships out nice and easily, we could get our stuff out in Orcas and in deep space transports and stuff just by filamenting out. So that was fortuitous, I think, in my opinion. The event came to an end before the eviction finished, so if we didn't get stuff out by the time the event finished, we then had to get out the traditional way by trying to break the hull camps. But we probably would have lost a lot more stuff if the event wasn't ongoing. At least I know I would have, anyway. So that was lucky, but it has meant that the last couple of days I had stuff scattered all over HiSec, and so I've spent the last couple of days just taking it easy, and just having Wad in his shuttle hopping like 45 jumps to get in an Orca, and then come back the 45 jumps in the Orca, and then go 38 jumps to get my DST, and just keep doing that. So I've done a few trips across the universe the last few days, but it has been a welcome change, I'll be honest. So I'm going to start by saying I thoroughly enjoyed the eviction. I know it's an odd way of phrasing it. No one enjoys losing structures and getting kicked out of and having their plans ruined, but I genuinely learned a lot about the game. So I'll try and come back to that in a second. But so yeah, I enjoyed the eviction, but it was hard work. Even though we ended up not really trying to fight back or anything, a couple of us spent, well, a few of us spent a long time trying to plan some bits, talking to potential allies and people that other fleets that might come in and help us out, and just generally monitoring the activity in the hull so that we could feed intelligence into fleets outside the hull and that sort of stuff. So the eviction fleet arrived on Sunday night as I was uploading last week's video. So I was uploading a video full of optimism on the Sunday evening, and as YouTube was processing the video, I was sat watching this 40 plus fleet of Drekavacs turn up in our hull and start bashing our structures. So I felt a little bit sad and ironic at the time as I was uploading a happy video. But then from then, so the eviction was completed on Wednesday night, late on Wednesday, and I was up, so Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, I was on Eve until gone 3 AM every day, as were a couple of others, and some of the guys looking to help us out. Where there's an Aussie, not going to name him now because I don't know if he wants to be named, but he was trying hard to help us out, and he would be online till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning his time, keeping our whole scan down and jumping about, which we obviously hugely appreciated. It was really helpful, and giving us advice on to us as to what we should be doing. But I was trying to do the same, whilst not achieving a tremendous amount, just quite draining. Sat watching, cloaked up, watching their high sec entry that the pirates were camping for like 3-4 hours straight, and then if they rolled that, scan down the next one immediately, fly over there, find out where it runs, and then get safe, and then just watch, and just constantly communicating with people, trying to make sure that we had the most up-to-date and the best information possible in case we were able to do anything with it. And as I say, that's just quite tiring and quite draining, just having to pay attention for that long, so late, for such a long period of time. Now don't get me wrong, so I'm quite a casual Eve player. Some of these guys, and I think the guys that evicted us, they are happy to work far harder than I've just said. They do that. They run those eviction fleets with 24-hour hull control and things, all the time. They're incredibly well organised, and they follow quite strict procedures, and they are willing to put in the work and do bizarre hours and things. Because I spent the couple of the days chatting to one of the guys who was evicting us, one of the members of the Russian group, and we were just chatting, having quite a nice conversation. He seemed alright, like something to remember when you're being evicted and when you're fighting or doing PvP against people. They're probably, don't hate them, there's no point, it's a game, it's a legitimate career path they've chosen. Like, it's a way, running wormhole evictions is a great way of making money if you're good at it. It's not personal, they're not targeting you specifically, for the most part. Obviously sometimes it is, but we were just unlucky, we were just on the receiving end because we were ripe targets. So I was just chatting to this guy, we were being very friendly, he was being quite open and cordial about the whole thing, and his shift pattern, there was one that he was running as part of the whole control, he was doing what shift? He was on till 3 AM Eve time, which they're at least 2 hours, maybe 3 hours ahead in Eastern Europe and Russia. So he was sort of doing the 2 AM to 6 AM time, his time. That was his shift, and that's grim. Like, you know, he was paying attention to Eve, he was chatting to me, but he was just sat watching TV, and not allowed to go to sleep because he had to monitor the whole. And so some people in this game are willing to put that level of work in. So whilst I found it quite tiring, I'm not trying to suggest like that I came close to what other people in the game are willing to do, and that's just something to bear in mind. You will almost always come up against a group or someone who is more patient, more willing to work in Eve than you are. Don't be surprised by anyone in this game. That's my advice. People in Eve are so patient and so willing to put the effort in to beat you, and that's awesome. That's one of the reasons I love the game. Like, the amount of time and effort and energy people are willing to invest in this thing is incredible. But so then, as a result of those, as I was saying, as a result of all those late nights for me and the long hours and stuff on the game, once it had finished and once that pressure was relieved, even though it was a bad outcome for us, once the pressure was relieved, like, I then was like, oof, now I'm tired. So just for the last couple of days, I've pulled back a little bit in what I've put into the game, which isn't great timing, but hopefully our corporation members understand. We put quite a lot into it the last few days beforehand, so we've not immediately bounced into our next thing. As directors and the CEO and things, we needed a little rest, and now we're getting ready to go. We're as at the start of the new week, we'll be ready to put our energy back into the game. But yeah, all I've done for the last couple of days is hop across the universe whilst watching TV, just consolidating our stuff after the eviction and bring it all back to the headquarters, and not a tremendous amount else. That being said, and for any of our DISA members watching this, in the background we have still been we've been trying to work out what the most realistic options are for our group, for our corporation, for our alliance, to then bring to everyone and sort of canvass opinion with a survey. There's a survey going to go around, but canvass opinion on what people want to do next. Like, whether do we go back into wormholes immediately? Do we go and own our own wormhole straight away? Build up our build on the lessons we learned from the eviction and just go again? Do people want to do that? Do we go and join a different wormhole group? I've mentioned him a couple of times on the channel, but we've got Necromancer in his C4. There's another group that we've been talking to who are in a C5, and they're keen to add to their numbers. So we've Hot Black and I have been talking to him, their CEO, a bit this week. Been on comms just to work out exactly what's possible, and what we'll be looking for, to then present that option to our group. Do we stay in high sec for a little while? Do we chill, consolidate, and is that what people want to do? Do we dive into null sec? So those are the, we want to canvass that opinion, but we needed to be aware of exactly what the options were, the realistic options, to present to the group. So I know if any of you guys are watching, as I say, sorry it's taken us a few days. I know you're getting a bit restless and you want to go again, but that'll be happening very early this week. I think I've actually just put a calendar invite out for a quick catch up, so that we can talk to everyone. But yeah, I personally just needed a quick rest, so we've just been running diplomacy and just working out what options are, and then we'll find out what people want to do, and we'll go with the majority. Whatever it is the majority want to do, we'll give that a crack. We'll put our energy into it and we'll go do it. So hopefully for the viewers, this time next week I'll be able to give you an update on where we think we're going, which is good. It'll be exciting. But also, a couple of our other members have been still been dumping their energy into the game and the group. Some of our more experienced players have just set up their own structure for compression and for I think capital assembly, so capital parts assembly, because it's Raitaru, and so that's cool. That's they made this available for the Alliance to use, and they've done that off their own back, their own cash. So that's cool. That's expanding our influence in HiSec and just making things easier for us up here as well, and allows us to get the ball rolling on on capital production if we decide to go down a route where we need capital production, but the ball's already rolling on it. And if we don't decide to go down that route, then that's cool. Obviously, you can still just make money off capital parts, so awesome. So that's been good to see, people pushing that and just taking some initiative and running with it. It's been nice. And then I just want to look back to what I mentioned before about enjoying the eviction. Now what I mean by that is it's a part of Eve I've not experienced before, so it was a completely novel experience for me in Eve. I've never been on the receiving end of an eviction before, and being able to witness the organisation that groups can bring to the table and what they can do and the efficiency they can work with was genuinely really impressive to watch. And I'm pleased to have been exposed to it. Obviously I prefer to have not lost those structures and things, but I was pleased to have been exposed to that part of the game and just to see it, and learn quite a lot about it. So I've learned a few bits about structure mechanics, because through conversations with the guy in the Alliance that evicted us, he was letting me know why they'd picked us, and he came in, or someone in their Alliance came in and scanned our structures with a ship scanner, and you can just get the full fit of the structure, which I didn't realise. Probably should if we're going to own structures, but I'm not actually in charge of running the structure or anything, so I've not looked into it tremendously. So I didn't know that you can just find out exactly what fit a structure has by scanning it. Come in the cloaky, go near the structure, scan it, disappear again, and you know exactly what you're facing straight away. And they thought the fit on our structure was doable, easy enough to take out, so they could do that. And there's several other things, so there's all sorts of different mechanics around PvP, which, because I'm not an experienced PvP pilot, was interesting to learn. Just silly things like the Victoria yacht, the luxury yacht that exists in the game. I didn't realise was so useful. It's interdiction nullified, I think, so it can't be caught by bubbles, warp bubbles. So that's a really useful tool to get in and out, and it's incredibly fast. And also it's got a reasonable bit of mass when you're running a prop mod, so you can use them when you're under siege, to roll your wormholes and stuff, or to break their hold control, and things like that. There's just so much that came up that I actually can't remember most of it right now, but when it comes up again in game, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, and I'll know how it works and what to do. Appropriate structure fits, more appropriate fits for my ships depending on what's going on, the importance of ECM in fleet PvP, just all sorts really, and it's been a really valuable experience for me. And to be honest, so if I had a look at my net worth has dropped by about $1 billion, so it's not a tremendous loss for me, because the structures were never part of my net worth. But if someone asked me, if you spend $1 billion to learn X amount about EVE Online, I'd be like, yeah, alright, I'll do it. And I would spend that much ISK to learn as much as we did. So genuinely really valuable experience, and I'm pleased that I was part of it at some point in my EVE life. Alright, so that's what I mean by when I said I sort of enjoyed the last week. But as I said, it does mean some of the stuff I mentioned last week has been set back a little bit. The Stratios building idea can still go ahead. There's no reason we can't do that. And the fleets, the PvE fleets in the C4, they can still go ahead. They've been put back a little bit because we haven't achieved anything this week, and we've been consolidating, so we need to now plan when we're next going to do those, but even though one would have been this week. So I can still put those videos together. But we need to, as I say, me and the other directors and the wider corporation will now be focusing our efforts on whatever it is the corporation decides to do next. So we'll still be trying to produce content like the C4 PvE, but we will be directing our effort into whatever the corporation decides to do next. If that's capital construction for moving back into wormhole space or moving down to null or whatever, then there's going to be an awful lot of mining, because we're going to need a lot of ore. So just things like that, I have been we've got a mining fleet set back up again for Monday, which is good. Hopefully we have good turnout for that. I have been neglecting that for the last couple of weeks, so it'll be good to get that running every week again. And another one of our guys, that Stelco, who's our head of industry, he now has an Orca as well, and so has been talking about running as a separate boosted fleet, so we should have at least 2 corporation boosted fleets a week. And we've got several other guys who are Orca capable and are regularly boosting. I mean, this character has just been still is in a fleet with one of our members who is boosting in an Orca. So we should be able to pull in a good number of rocks. Yeah. And then the only other thing, I guess, is just the channel generally is going to keep going in its current format. I'm enjoying the engagement. Thank you to everyone who reached out during the eviction. The message of support and advice and stuff was really cool. Thank you for that. And we also had there's been some people interested in PI. So I've been chatting to a couple of people about PI and things, and just other bits of the game. I do enjoy it. I really do. Leave a comment if you would like to see an in-game channel for this YouTube channel, and also suggest a name if you do want to see that. But otherwise, we'll be continuing as is for the time being. Let's get this cycling, and then we'll go back to here. Right. Here's my Mars shuttle. I tell you, we can wrap up with a different skin as well, because I did have to do a few trips in my Iteron, so it's relevant again, because as I say, I do want the skins to be relevant. This is the Biosecurity Responders skin for the Iteron Mark V. Let's go fitting. Can I clean the ship? Oh, I just took it off. There we go, and now it should be nice and clean. There we go, that's better. There you go, you could tell I've been flying around in it because it was filthy. I find this skin kind of funny. I generally like the Biosecurity Responder skins. but on the Itron, for me it really does look like they like started and then got halfway and just sort of forgot that they were doing a skin. But I do quite like it. I like the blue, and this pattern does really work well on other ships as well. So yeah, there's biosecurity responders. You might be wondering why you can see turrets on here. That's just the festival launchers from the event. So I'll probably wrap up there. I don't know how long this video is, but I'll bring you an update next week, hopefully, on with a genuine direction and where we're going next with the corporation. And yeah, so for all of our members watching, thank you for staying patient. We will be talking to you in the next day or so, getting your opinion on where we want to go and what we want to do as a group. So thank you everyone for watching. Thanks for being part of the channel. If you want to see more, please subscribe. I will be doing another giveaway in the next week or so, so stick around for that, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.